Hey, I'm going to pass something along that when I was a young mother, wife, trying to do it all, trying to, do the stuff that my mother and my grandmother, well, not so much my mother, she wasn't really much of a cook, but my father was quite the cook, would look so effortlessly. It's kind of like when you move out and you get out of the shower and you go to reach for a towel and there's no towel, or there's one towel but it's dirty, and you realize that there's just not, towels just don't appear out of thin air. I was a little naive sometimes, but I did move out when I was 16. That's a whole nother video. Anyways, yeah, I thought I would pass this on because every year I am the brunt of the joke with my family because I was so thrilled to make pumpkin pie. And I come from a farm family that we would grow our pumpkin and puree it. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. That's just my freezer. No. Oh, right here. I'll make one of these later on today. But see, pumpkin pie, 3 cups. You just grow a pumpkin. There's certain kinds of pumpkins that are that are better for pies, and you cook it through just like a squash. You scoop it out, you puree it, you put it in a thing. It's the exact same thing as this pumpkin pie mix, pumpkin pie mix, pureed pumpkin pie. If you look on the side of the can, little hint for those that aren't bakers and are just new at this and got the mother-in-law coming over for the first time or whatever your funny story is, there's a list of ingredients. And my phone is it's 4:15 in the morning, so we're just not going to pick that up. Anyways, on the side of here, it tells you what you're going to need to make that pumpkin pie and how big that pumpkin pie is going to be. Okay? This is an average pie plate. This is a deep one. So this little one is not going to fill that all the way up. Anyways, my point is when you do this, you have to get evaporated milk. Not condensed, evaporated. Huge mistake. Huge. Have done it. Did a whole slew of pies, 6 pies, grabbed the wrong kind. Yeah, I was very embarrassed and was really quite angry. Then the next year, I did the eggs, did the pumpkin pie space. Now, I grew up where we grated the nutmeg and the cinnamon and all that, but we just did everything. That's just what we did. Back then, they didn't have the convenience of pumpkin pie mix. It's amazing how now, I grew up where if you got things out of a box or whatever, for one thing, you were very wealthy, or you were lazy. Now I'm all about the convenience, as long as I'm not compromising too much of your health. Anyways, not only does it need evaporated milk, but it needs sugar. I've tried it with honey. I've tried it with other stuff. No, it needs sugar. It's twice a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving. Just bite it. It's this whole pie will only have 3/4 of a cup, so it's not even a full cup of sugar in it. Although of course it's got that, but hey, you got to pick your battles. Anyways, one year I did all the grating and the grinding and thought, wow, this pie is costing me a fortune because I had to buy cinnamon and nutmeg and clove and all that stuff, not realizing that you could buy it all in one little jar. That's how naive I was, because we just didn't go to grocery stores a lot. Anyways, my story is never forget the sugar, because it can be the most beautiful pie you've ever seen. The crust can be gorgeous, yada, yada, yada. But when you bite into it, it is wretched without the sugar. So I did that one year also, and everybody sat at the kitchen table and we're eating my pumpkin pie real slowly, and they kept fighting over the Cool Whip. And actually, I didn't have Cool Whip. Back then, I used to get the whipping cream, the milk whipping cream. Let's see if I have any. No, I think I did Cool Whip. It's in the other freezer in the back room. Anyways, I was going to show you. It looks like a little box of milk like you got when you were a kid at school. Anyhow, you would whip the whipping cream and it would make the most beautiful, because it's real cream. Anyways, they were fighting over the Cool Whip, and they were just piling it on there. And even my father was sitting at the table, which was all about table manners when we were growing up. And it was so hilarious because my boys were just piling it on. And I'm just letting them be boys, and he's letting them be boys. And I thought, oh, and I sit down with my cup of tea, and I took my first bite. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. I mean, I literally spit it back out in my hand and was like, what the heck? And they all just started cracking up. And my dad, in his quiet ways, takes the Cool Whip, or takes the whip container, the bowl, and just slides it over me. And I look at him and I go, what is going on? And he laughed and said, you forgot the sugar. Well, that's my funny story. So every year when they come bounding through that door and they look at the pies and they go, hey, Mom, you didn't forget the sugar, did ya? And I'm like, zip it, or I'm going to spit in it next time. Anyways, that's my funny little story I thought I'd pass on to you. And for you young girls that think you got to be everything and do everything, honestly, just buy the pre-made stuff. But always remember, you're going to need spices. You're going to need evaporated milk. Sometimes, believe it or not, they'll stock that stupid other milk, condensed milk, instead of the evaporated milk right next to this, which I'm sure there's a lot of pissed off housewives when they're serving their pie that night. And don't forget the sugar. And you know what? Don't forget the love, because Christmas is right around the corner. Bye. You're never too late to have a great childhood. See you tomorrow.